Hey there, everyone. Jacqueline Jax from A.V.A. Live Radio. Really excited to be here. We've got Joseph Pagano, one of our live streaming artists from A.V.A. community, coming on to talk to me about social media marketing, which is something that we all know and love to hate. But when we do it right, it's just so much fun, isn't it?
That's great. Hello, everyone.
So, Joseph, tell me, what has been your favorite social media page so far? Of everything you've
started out putting up my own page on HostBaby and just organizing everything there. Right, it was the first step. It helped the thought process to figure out what do people care about, what's the best way to put new music up there and capture blogs and news coverage. And then I met you a few months back, and you said, there's this thing called Reverb Nation, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but everybody's out there. And then I said, wait a minute, everybody's out there. I need to be out there too. And that quickly became the primary site. So I have both of those as kind of landing pages. The artist site, josephpagano.band, was kind of cool to get your own domain name and URL there. But Reverb Nation is probably the best intersection of other artists, fans, producers, musicians, and it's a great way to do those extra little things for your community, like you were talking about last night on the Blab about maybe releasing an acoustic version of something or outtakes, or just putting some new ideas or content out there. So that's really what it's become. And of course, we can talk today about all these other channels that you've taught us about, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, and now Blab. Becoming important, but also one of the more usable formats.
Yeah, it is. I agree. It's, a lot of people, I think, have asked me, which one should they be doing? And, the fact of it is that every single social media network has its own network. You know what I mean? So if you have a social media page, whether it be through Blab, Reverb Nation, Facebook, Periscope, there's YouTube channels, there's so much, right? Twitter, there's Instagram, now there's Snapchat, there's a lot, and there will be new ones that come along. But if it depends on what you're going for. If you want just like a homegrown brand and you want to just kind of be king of a couple of spheres, then that's good. But if you want a major entertainment brand and you're going for a big broadcasting career or something, you kind of have to have good solid representation on all of the social media networks. I would say the major ones, because I know there are a lot that we don't ever discuss and we never really talk about because they're just kind of they're not getting up there, you know what I mean, in popularity. Yeah. So that's, one of the main things that we've always talked about.
And you've taught us this too, linking. It's not like you need to be on 8 channels and spend 1 hour on each of the 8 every day, because you never create anything new that way. Mm-hmm. So there's this technique of linking content together, which has been pretty powerful. And then there are certain times where you might just do something unique on that channel, but you wouldn't do it every day. And your guide was super helpful that you put out on how to market through Facebook and how to have an agenda and a rhythm. And there's certain things that you could do on Twitter with hashtags on certain days of the week, certain time zones. So you kind of learn along the way of the tricks of the trade, how to get scale without putting in as much time as you think in the beginning. That said, you still need to make a personal decision on how much marketing time, musician, how much songwriting time, how much live playing time, until which time you get to the point where you can delegate to other people. But I think a lot of us are kind of wearing a lot of hats ourselves, so we have to make those trade-offs.
Yeah, I was, we're in the process of putting together a retail design room. So it's typically we're taking our traditional design room and we're turning it into an appointment-only retail space that I can actually make style shows from on YouTube, to build a YouTube version of it. And in the discussions and the many meetings every single morning about what we're going to do and what the plan is, I realized that in putting this together from scratch, it's kind of jogging my memory and making me think more and more about what I should be telling you guys as far as indie artists about building brands, because there's a parallel no matter what you're building online. If it's a social media network that you're talking about advertising on, there's a big parallel because a product is a product no matter what. And everybody wants to buy products from people. So whether you're a designer or an indie artist or, you're a broadcaster, whatever it is that you're putting out, they still want to know, one, about the person making it and creating it, and two, about the product that's actually coming out. So it's funny because when I was thinking about, okay, what are we going to do? We're going to create, there's several things you can do online in social media. You can go the easy route and you can just type, just words. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying just words, but you could just do words. Or you could take your phone, which you have all the time, and you can start to get some pictures out there. You know what I mean? Which we know makes a stronger presence. But then now, in today's day and age with Apple TV and everything that we've got, now we're talking about not only video, adding video to your dossier of things that you have to collect, but adding live streaming station video. And how do we do it and manage to make that happen and make those stronger connections and be able to build the brand faster that way, but still have the time to create the product? Which is what you were talking about and what I'm always talking about, because I know that it is what it is. You've got to put a lot of time and energy in on your product, but then as any startup company has, you have to take care of your social media and make those contacts and connections. So I think that one of the things I wanted to bring up today is YouTube videos, YouTube channels, because YouTube, with the combination of Periscope, are two things and great ways that you can create video right from your phone, which is what a lot of people that I refer to as our social media gurus, they say, look, if you've got the chops to be able to get there out on video and talk to people, that's the number one way you're going to get your message out there. And you're really going to make an instant connection. And it's so true. I mean, think about it. YouTube videos, even just streaming right from your phone, they don't have to be ultra perfect. They can be what they are, and they can get a lot of views and a lot of hits. And not only that, but the people that currently follow you can so enjoy them because they already know you. So when they see that content come out, whether you post that video directly to your Facebook feed or you put it out there in a YouTube channel so they can go back, or you launch it and create it on something like Periscope, and then be able to use that video feed later. Those are all that higher step of getting right to the person on the other side of the box. And
most people that have broadband connectivity in the world have a full-blown recording studio and broadcast studio, in their pocket. This is brand new, right? In the year or so, the history of the world.
Yeah,
and it's
great quality.
Learning, how to create relevant content, but distribute it across these different channels. So one of the great things you taught us was this catch.me site can catch your Periscope broadcasts and automatically video post it and then send links to Facebook and Twitter. So you get the replay capability as well. But I haven't really figured that out for YouTube. Are you saying that we can also have things automatically posted on YouTube channels or?
Yes. Okay, good. Great question. Because this is how I'm creating my videos, and I want you guys to see exactly this. This is just my LG phone. So you can do this through iPhones, Samsungs, also your iPad. I also just got a new iPad mini, which is a smaller version of the iPad, and I have a mount for it. Now, the clip mounts that are really easy to get, I show you guys them all the time, and you can clip them to anything. You know what I mean? It's very similar to this. So, in other words, I have this basic clip. I give them away on the Periscope channel all the time. You just put your phone, if you don't want to hold it and you want people to be able to see more, and angle it at you either this way or this way. So you can do this with any of your devices. Now, that instantly creates a video camera type of thing, where it looks very, very professional because you're not just doing the selfie video recording and you're shaking. It gives you stability. Then if you add something like an extra mic, whether it be the A.V.A or like this lavalier that I have on for Periscope right now, which is by IK Multimedia, who is also one of our tried and true sponsors of A.V.A Live Radio. We love the products that they have out. This will turn any device into a professional video camera. So the YouTube videos that you guys are seeing me launch right now on YouTube through A.V.A Live Radio and that will come out on the Fashion, they're actually going to be done through a very, very simple device. And you can see how clear and beautiful they are. So if you go to our YouTube channel right now, there's actually, I think, 2 videos up there that I created just with my phone. And the clarity, I wouldn't want the clarity to be any better than it is. Otherwise, I would get a complex because it would show way too much. So, very, very simply, getting back to YouTube, all you have to do is if I open the YouTube app, and I know it's bright in here so you can't see it, it gives me the option on my homepage to push this nice little button, and that allows me to upload whatever video I have recorded in my phone right there. There's also an app that is called Capture that you can get on your Apple devices, and that works the same way. You can capture the video and directly upload it to YouTube right away. Now, there are other ways that you can live stream on your YouTube channel. So whether it be through your computer, whatever device you have, look into it, because some of you will, I'm not really sure if everybody is allowed to stream live. I think you have to have a certain number of subscribers, but it's really easy to look it up. I just haven't looked it up in a while to see if they changed it. I remember it used at one time, it was like if you had 1,000 subscribers, you could do a live feed on YouTube. But it's really, really easy just to pre-record the video or get the video from your Periscope, or even set up a separate dedicated phone for your one for Periscope and then one to record the video as you go along. I've done all 3 of those things and they've all worked really, really great. Jerry was asking, he's in the Czech. Jerry, do you want to jump in on this panel while you're here? I just saw him. He's from the band Hennessy and he was on yesterday. He was asking, Joseph, where are you from?
Me, I'm from Northern New Jersey.
Northern New Jersey. Okay, Jerry, so you got your answer. So if, here he is. Hang on, let's let him on.
Yeah, we have one open seat, right? There we go. Now we have 2 open seats.
Hey there, Jerry. How are you?
Jerry.
It took me a second to get presentable.
I saw you with your notepad yesterday, Jerry. You whipped out your notepad and impressed Jacqueline with all the notes.
Yeah.
I love it.
All the super knowledge that they can give us, I am like a sponge absorbing the most I can. It's always good to learn from somebody that's already doing what you want to do.
Yep, yeah. Same here.
And I think, you guys you're facing the same thing I face every day. With everything that I do, I have to get it done fast and I have to get it done at the best quality that I can possibly put it out. Between the live streaming shows and all the extra ads and everything else that we do, it's really important to know the technology and try and get it to work for you in the most efficient way, because you don't want to be spending so much time on your social media that you can't respond to comments, you can't keep the conversation going, and you can't create, great product out there. So it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you recommend, Jacqueline, for the live shows that we're doing, so next Tuesday, that we simulcast, right? So we turn on our own Periscope into this LabMe broadcast. This way we capture more channels. Is that how it's been going, or?
Yeah, I originally started doing simulcast because I wanted a live audience in on anything that I had going on, and it's been a fabulous way. Like Jerry, for instance, will tell you they found us through that live stream, and that's how the band Hennessy ended up with us, and now they're on live streaming. So it's been a really good connector for me. I love it because I'm great with live. I don't really like to do pre-recorded stuff as much as I like to be in the moment, and that's how I think, and that's my best ideas come that way. So to me, having a live feed there makes my brain snap to attention, and I'm just, I automatically do my best. So I open Periscope 24/7 because I just like it. But I think that for you guys, it's just such a valuable opportunity to have the number one source. I mean, right now, video and live streaming is the number one source of content creation out there. And then second to that is an archive of the live streaming. So video is king, and it will always be king because it's live, So if you can open your Periscope on anything that you guys are doing, even if you think it's just little and minute, and even if you think there's only 5 people watching, believe me, there's a lot more people watching than you think, because Periscope in particular is double simulcasting on Twitter. So in other words, right now, because I have my Periscope open, people can watch this live on Twitter without ever coming into the app. It doesn't reflect in the numbers until later when you get the stats, but they're there. And it's really great that they're there, because that's, up to 20 million people you can have, grabbing a little image of you there. So you definitely want to take advantage of it. I know that, let me just put it this way. Since I've been doing this, it has boosted my Twitter stats for the @JacquelineJax and @A.V.A Live Radio well past the 20 million person in 48 days range that we're reaching. So that is just through Twitter and using Periscope. So you definitely want to do it.
Makes sense. Yeah, I've had people come back on Facebook and comment on little blurbs that we had done on Periscope. We've only been on it 2 or 3 times, like rehearsals and just walking around the backyard, pointing at deer at rehearsal and things like that. And people come back, they watch that, and they like those little things. And it's a reminder, hey, you should do that more often. Yeah.
And then, you'll have a feed that will drop to your phone. Or like you said, on Catch, if you do the catch.me, you have an archived version of the Periscope. I actually take those and I take pieces out and I use them on other things like Instagram. And then once I use it on Instagram, I'll take that clip and I'll post it directly to Facebook. Or sometimes I'll just take the entire video and drop it into Facebook. And so it seems like I'm a lot more places than I actually am, but one stream can actually cover a whole lot of, entertainment value for people that are following you and want to see what's the latest thing going on.
And what do you edit in for those, capturing that quick clip and then posting that somewhere else? You just do that on your phone editor?
Basically, I'll open my phone and do a Periscope. So then I end up with a copy of the Periscope saved directly to my phone. As I have like a little extra card in here to save, so that it can hold lots of images and lots of videos. So then I will open my, say I was going to put it on Instagram, I'll open Instagram, and then you have a choice when you open Instagram if you want to launch video, photos, or take something, or take a video or photo. So I just choose whatever it is that I want to go ahead and in this case, it would be portion of the video. So I would pull up the video and then, you just clip it right in Instagram into like a 15-second clip that you want, because it only lets you do a 15-second clip. I think it's 15 seconds. Then I launch it. Now, when I launch this, I push that I want it on Facebook, and I also want it to go to Twitter at the same time. So not only am I automatically saving a 15-minute clip of video into my phone again from the original clip, but it's automatically launching to Facebook and Twitter. And then I take that clip, I go to my public profiles, and I launch it on the public feed, because with the way I have this set up, it will only automatically launch from my Instagram directly to my personal Facebook page. It won't go to my public pages. So that's how I'm dropping the video into the public pages, is I'm just one extra step. I copy and paste whatever I've written, and then I just alter it for wherever I'm going to place it. Additionally, in my phone, I've got Google+. I have things like YouTube. I have, a lot of different things in my phone so that I can sit there and I can go and customize that one piece of content to wherever I want to drop it, whether it be LinkedIn, Google. And that's why you're going to see some of this custom stuff go out on multiple social networks really, really quickly, because it's just me and my little phone and my finger just going through and doing it. It makes it really easy. And that's how I train my staff. They all have phones. They are all doing that all the time.
That's how she trains your bands too.
Yes. Absolutely.
I took the information we learned from you last night, and today I'm supposed to be doing a blab this evening on real estate here in Houston. And I went on Instagram. I went on Instagram and did a 15-second video inviting everybody to the blab show, and sent out that. I got so much response because it was an actual video of me saying, "Come out and join us."
Oh,
It
great.
is. It is. Yeah. It was it you. Were you guys telling me the other day that the best way that you like to respond, you like to take the time and do some kind of a personal response? You were saying that yesterday, right?
With Snapchat,
Yeah.
take a, or you can do it with
Snapchat.
Instagram as well, but mostly it's easier with Snapchat. You can do it
Yeah.
through your friends or whoever responds to you, and they'll just go on and they'll take a little 10-second snap saying, "Hey, thanks for becoming our fan. We really appreciate it. We look forward to seeing you. Here's where we're going to be next," and then the name, and then send it to them directly. And that's really they're like, "Wow, really? This band actually contacted me personally."
Yeah, it is. It makes a huge difference. And also, I do that on Facebook a lot. And I forgot to mention it when we were talking about it. On Facebook, very, very often, first of all, I hate it when I don't answer the comments. I constantly am scanning Facebook. There's just so many pages to scan that sometimes I actually have to get on Hootsuite to see them all and see if I've missed any of them. So I try and keep up with it. But when I do respond, a lot of times I will actually take a photograph for the response and I'll drop it in. So you can do that on Facebook as well. And it does make a huge difference. But, let me tell you, when you're talking, there's nothing like the power of talking, right? So you can see how that advertisement, even if it's just a 15-second, hey, on Instagram, you've created your video and you drop it everywhere at the same time. And you've got a very, very powerful tool. So let's talk a little bit about Facebook and the reach, because I feel like that is on the table 24/7 in the last year. The timelines just aren't what they used to be. They definitely want you either doing things directly on Facebook, not directing people off of the channel, and they also really want you to pay for advertising. And I think that they're carefully watching the type of things we drop onto our Facebook pages, very similar to Instagram. I don't know if you heard the Instagram, I think it was Macy's, had a dress out, or Dillard's, somebody had a dress out, and what they did is they sent dresses to all of the major Instagram, like the style gurus, the girls that do the style channels, and they had them all take pictures and drop the same dress picture of them wearing the dress to Instagram within like an hour period. They picked up on it and said, hey, you didn't buy advertising, and that is clearly a violation. That is definitely an ad. That is not just a coincidence that you had 50 of the top bloggers out there wearing your dress within an hour. So they had to do something where they had to compensate for it. So you can see where a lot of these social media channels, if they feel like it's too advertising or they feel like it's something that should be a sponsored ad, they may actually block your feed, if not actually block the account. So you have to be really careful with what you put out there.
Interesting. Yep. It isn't what it used to be, but at the same time, it could draw people to other channels, right? That aren't enforcing the kind of rules.
No, I think the best rule of thumb is just to have a really good time on your social media. And if that means that some of them are going to go by the wayside and you're not actually going to engage on them, then that's okay. It's just so be it, until you get big enough where you can have somebody handle a presence on the other ones. Then do what it is that makes you really happy, because ultimately you're not going to stick with anything that doesn't make you have a good time too. You know what I mean? If it's a tedious task and you hate being there, people are going to tell. So I always say, just try and shape your content around the most fun, So if you're building a brand, you obviously want to put up posts on social media that are entertaining and fun for people to engage with. And if you're an indie music artist and you want to build a brand on social media, then you're going to be reflecting the thoughts and the feelings and, who you are as an artist and who you are as a person, so that people can not only read your lyrics and get in touch with the music you're creating, but also drop in and say, hey, I really like this guy. He's got such a great sense of humor, and that's what I come to his Facebook page for. So you really want people to start remembering your name being synonymous with at least 3 things, not just the music that you create, but the person you are.
Jacqueline, do you mind sharing some of your insights on cross-selling products? You had this autograph picture thing, which does well every year around the holidays. What did you use to put up an e-commerce site and link people to that? Because I think, we have to start thinking about the merchandising side pretty soon.
Yeah, everybody should be of merchandising. I read something the other day about indie music and the business model of the typical indie artist that is doing this full time as a career. And one of the big trains of thought that they really wanted to let everybody know was that if you don't have affiliated products, you have to be really careful about mass marketing your merchandise. In other words, if your music isn't selling or you don't have a large enough fan base to be able to make enough money on your music at 99 cents or $1.29 or whatever it is that you're charging, then you definitely have to get associated products. And with that, it's either get the hard copies of the jewel cases and get those CDs out to, businesses like we were talking yesterday and get them mass selling for you, or start developing a t-shirt line or hats or something to go with your music brand that's really cool and fun for somebody to be able to have, and then start marketing them out on channels. Now, of course, when you do that, Reverb Nation does not, if you're launching music with Reverb Nation or any of these music sites, they don't sell the products anymore. They used to have outlets for that, but they got away from it because, quite frankly, when you're doing them in small scale, you're not making enough profit, and neither are the artists. So, unless you're ordering in bulk. The big thing is where you're going to sell them. So in answer to your question, Squarespace makes a great, easy site. It's $30 a month. I actually use it for blondiebeachwear.com is where we have that, and it works fabulously. It's so easy to integrate video. There's a blog on there that you can host for, included in your package. It collects credit cards. It's secure online payment, and it just works great. It's just got a lot of features in there that I love. The other thing is, if you're good at WordPress is extremely flexible. In other words, you can pretty much design any kind of site depending on how good you are. We use OS Training. You hear me talk about them a lot to train our staff on how to build the sites out, because we do have A.V.A. Live Radio, and lots of the blogs are all WordPress sites. But if you aren't great at that and you don't want to learn how, then I suggest going with something really easy like Squarespace, because it's just, they have the credit cards. You literally sign up, you put in your information, and they just do everything for you. You just have to kind of arrange the product on the page. But a lot of people use that.
Awesome. That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're welcome. So guys, this is cool. We have one more coming in. Let me get the shadow of in here so he can join. Now we got our 4 boxes. Hey there.
Hey, I'm so sorry that I missed the time schedule, but now I'm here. So yes.
No worries. I'm glad to have you here.
So happy to be here also, and thank you for what I've been hearing about putting out the t-shirts and how to developing up your business, all kind of with t-shirts and all the things. And actually, when you talked about it, Jacqueline, and you just asked about it, I had an experience a year ago, I think it was, where I went out to a shop, a coffee place. And what I did was kind of making a deal with that place that you talked about it yesterday, Jacqueline, about they bought, was it 50 EPs of a pre-EP of that EP I released, the shadow of this one here, yeah. And they ordered 50 EPs. So instead of that, they paid me to come and play the concert. They paid for the concert, but they got the debut EP here all for free, kind of for free. So what they did was giving that away for the customers who showed up in the coffee place and was buying a cup of coffee or a cup of tea and a cola or anything. So under my concert, when I was playing this 1-hour concert, the hostess and the waitress was walking around and giving out those EPs here to those customers who went to this coffee place. So in that way, I made a deal with that place that I played it for 45 minutes and got 50 EPs out to the customers. And that was the reason why I was kind of getting my music out to some people. And now you're talking about brands and how to be kind of, and it's kind of, I'm actually telling people every time that I would not have them to use my normal name. I'm only the shadow of, and in all ways I'm going out, I'm presenting myself as the shadow of, and when I was releasing the EP this September, I also got this T-shirt here, so you for sure know who I am.
I love it. That's
Cool,
great.
man.
Thank you so much. And for me, it's all about letting people know, because I'm an unknown artist, but I'm dreaming big.
Yes.
And that is the only way I can keep moving forward. I have to we are millions of people in the world, but what is making me unique? I don't know. I have a story about a dark period in life, but that is past. Who am I now? And how can you, example, who the listeners and who the people who's watching, how can they keep thinking of this black dude or the shadow of? So that is also something like making your name stand among the others, kind of seeing that picture of a bunch of people where there is one kind of a guy who is standing upside down with the head onto the ground, and the other is kind of, so in my mind, is kind of always standing out and always do something different and keep thinking in a new way of how to make people remember you. Because if there is three artists on stage, you have to be the one who is kind of going to be the pink guy instead of the two yellow guys. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love what you're saying.
Thank you.
Terrific, because you definitely are asking the right questions. You know, Shadow, you're not only do you have a great story that you're starting with, but then now you're starting to say, okay, look, I've gone out there, I've presented my previous story, I've got the basics out there, and it's still important. Let me just point out that, remember, every new fan you get, they haven't heard the first story. So you definitely have to have some kind of background that you start to build so that people can still catch the value of the first story as you come into the second. But the thing is that you have a situation where you've been doing it for a little while. So the people that are current fans, yes, you have to progress and you have to move forward. And it's so great that in your mind, you're already thinking of, what am I today and how am I going to put that message forward? Because you can't hang on forever on the same story. We have to progress. You know, we're people. So you have to be constantly telling that story moving forward. And that's a really great point that you made, and not one we address often enough. So I'm glad you brought it up.
Of course, yes.
So I guess the question really is video and live streaming going to be key? I mean, here we are today. You know, 6 years ago when I started coming on the station for A.V.A. Live Radio, we were a little bitty audio feed, you know, and buying advertising like crazy and raising funds and doing all kinds of stuff we were trying to do to get the message out there in, you know, like almost a live stream versus podcast version. And now here we are sitting on live streaming on technology like Blab and with multi-streams on Periscope that are going to be, you know, archived on YouTube and probably dropped in a bunch of other social media networks. So what is it that, I guess what I'm saying is you guys are a little more advanced users, the people that are just getting started. What do we tell them? What do we say right off the bat? You know, how do we have a clear head about all this, and how do they get to where you guys are already? Because a lot of people are just starting out.
I say Blab, first of all. Blab, there's so much stuff to learn here. I mean, I work from my house. You can see all my electronic stuff back there. And so all day long I'm on here, and there's people that are teaching you about Facebook, teaching you about Snapchat, teaching you about all the different things, and they're all coaches, and it's free. I mean, REE, it is free to sit here and get into these chat rooms and just learn and listen. And you know, that's how I learned about the Snapchat thing, and how you can you can buy a filter with your brand on it for like $5, and then you can map it out to wherever you're going to be, and that everybody that's on Snapchat in that area can actually put a picture, and your filter comes out on that picture, that when they share it, it shows them with your logo on it at Starbucks in Houston or something. It's really awesome.
Love it. That's great. Yeah, that's very cool. I've heard about that. I still have to get on Snapchat. It's just been one of those things that's going to be one of my fun tools. And I know, just like Periscope, 7 months ago, when I get on Snapchat, it's going to be one of those things where I'm going to be on Snapchat all the time, doing crazy things. But I think what we were planning to do is, first I've got to crack the code to get back into my Snapchat, because somehow I have been locked out of my Snapchat, and I don't know what I did, but I did.
I think it's cool. Jealous you've been using all the other programs.
Yeah, they're like, they don't want me. That's it.
I think the main thing about somebody that's just starting out is just to pick 2 or 3 that you can get good at. And also
Good advice.
The big key is to find out where your audience is. If you're a younger group and your audience is on Facebook, then go on Facebook to start. If you're a middle of the road, like our band is, then Twitter is like really important. And the good thing about Twitter is Periscope, Blab, and Twitter all work hand in hand. And basically, if you can learn Twitter, then you can automatically learn Blab and Periscope. And now you've got 3 different avenues to work on just by learning one main theme. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. No, very, very good advice. And for those of you that are wondering, how am I going to figure out who my listener is, get a Reverb Nation page and look at your Twitter stats, because you can access a lot of who's already watching you through these kind of things. I know that we have a pro side to our Reverb Nation page. So if any of you want to see what I see, I'm happy to take snapshots for you, because what happens is we actually have snaps and the ability to see a full scope of what every single artist that applies to our station is actually doing out there on social media. So in other words, we can see where your mailing list is. We can see what, a pie of how it's broken down as far as how many people are actually listening to you through Reverb Nation from Facebook, Twitter, every single social media profile that you have linked up. So it's actually to your advantage to link up as many as you can on your Reverb Nation page, especially when you're applying for opportunities, because if you leave one out, ultimately that's going to be the deciding factor into whether you're going to get that opportunity or not. If somebody's looking at your social media. And of course, they're going to go off social media first, because one, it puts you in the top of the line of the applications, because it automatically goes by who has the most fans. We have to rearrange it in order to see everybody. Otherwise, we would just initially see the first 1,000 people that have over 200,000 fans. And I feel that that's not really exactly fair. Judge of the music. So if you're using Reverb Nation, you definitely want to go and check out those stats and try and keep track of where your people are coming from and who they are. The other thing is create an avatar once you do. Get in your mind the average listener. Is it a male or a female? If it's a female, what does she look like? What age is she? You know what I mean? What kind of things does she like? If it's a male, or if you're 50-50, try and get an avatar for the males and try and speak to that person every single time you launch something or prepare something for your social media. I always say to you guys, if you're in doubt, act like you're talking to me, because I'm probably watching you at all times. So just pretend like you're giving me a message. You know what I mean? And that's a good way to start.
That's cool.
Yeah, really cool. So what else can we tell them before we get going here? Is there anything else that somebody that's just new starting? I mean, I know, Jerry, you mentioned that choose like 3 that you love and get started with those. And it is good. You can't learn everything all at once. So we're a little more knowledgeable about these things. So when we say we're on so many and we're doing all this, they've come in layers. You just missed the past probably 10 years of layers that we've come to at this point.
It's like the overnight.
So definitely.
Years to get there.
But, what's that?
I said it's like the overnight success. The overnight years to get there.
Yeah, I know, right? There was I was watching an awards show. It was a tribute to Clive Davis, and it was talking about all the different stars that he has, discovered over the years. And one of them, I believe it was Joan. I think it was Joan Jett, and she was playing, and I really like her. And he said something like, I I remember when I first, took you on the label and everything, she said, yeah, I was 35 years of an indie artist in the making. She goes, it took me 35 years to just become on your label to get discovered. She said, so I was already an oldie before I even got there, and I thought to myself, that's kind of really cool, because here she's like one of the biggest rockers that everybody knows of. And she really didn't start her career, so to speak, in a major way until well after she was doing it for 35 years. So you can imagine what age she was when she started, even years ago. And I thought that was very encouraging, because a lot of people think that if they don't make it within a year or two, well, that's not going to happen. I'm going to throw in the towel. And you don't realize that that's what paying your dues is all about, right? Especially in the music industry. Got to perfect the craft. And it takes more than a year.
Yeah. Actually, I think
Definitely.
for those who are going to start periscoping all the things on the social media, because I'm still a kind of a newborn in that kind of a way, and it's kind of being not to be afraid of just trying to go out and do it, but still remember to as Jerry was talking about, do it 1 or 2, 3 kind of, and you talked about it once. I remember, Jacqueline, about putting up a schedule of what you're going to do in the week, so people is kind of always getting your listeners and fans and supporters always know what you're, and do it on the same time, because example, if you're out of I'm from Denmark, Copenhagen, and if you're in another place, so people always know what time that the shadow off is going on to do Periscope, or is going to do actually, Jerry, but that was cool. I didn't know that, so I'm gonna look at that also. But it's kind of putting a normal time that is every day is kind of the time is kind of going on all the week, and have kind of a structure, so that you are prepared when you're doing kind of school, and you also can have just fun. So it's not always kind of structured, but always kind of seem professional and still fun, and that you're inviting people to be part of your band or your that is the cool thing about Periscope, because you are inviting people to integrate with you as an artist. So it's kind of, if I'm going to play a gig, I will do something. When we did the first interview with A.V.A. and you, Jacqueline, I made this video, I remember, and saw how many people who was kind of watching it and checking it out, and to make people getting kind of a bit of the cake before they actually get the cake. I think that is a pretty good way to get people in to do that. So just do it, and don't be afraid to be kind of doing failures, because we all need to do failures to make some experience to keep developing.
Yes. Good point.
The hard thing in Denmark, I say that, it's kind of, we have this old story called the law of Yende. It's kind of a law that was written a long time ago, a story about that the city kind of had a place where you couldn't believe that you were much anything else than others. So, and it's kind of something all the Danes are learning from a really small age. So it's kind of it's inside us. And it's kind of a hard thing, because when you're trying to do something that is out of the normal way, it's kind of being like, oh no, and but go for it, and find that place you think works for you. If it's Facebook, if it's Twitter, if it's Periscope or Blab. I really like Blab, because it's an education social media, because we're sitting and talking now, putting out ideas how to inspire people to do the social media on Blab, Twitter, and so I like Blab, because now we are sitting 4 people here talking about what you can do. So we are 4 people who is having a knowledge that can be a part of inspiring the next artist who is sitting and listening or watching it or replaying this. And who knows, this person might be the new big social media star, because he's getting something. So Blab is definitely something people have to have to take in and look out for, because it's just an education, and life is an education, and nothing come easy. You have to pay. You have to work hard for it, no matter if it's Twitter, Facebook, or anything else.
Yeah, it's always like that. That's so
Yeah.
true.
So yeah, just go for it. Try out, find what you think is best for your artist or your band, and then keep working on that specific page, social page. And then when you're feeling comfortable, you can go to the next step. I think it was,
Yeah, great advice. Great advice. I know that when I started any of the social media channels that we have, and especially recently, because that's one of our newest ones, I remember that I got on there for very short stints of time, and I kind of wrote down every single week what I was going to put on there and what kind of topics I was going to discuss. And I had a big chart in my book. I had a huge big notebook, and I had written down. And in fact, a few times I actually did created an image of it, and I put it out there on social media. I said, okay, Monday, this is what you're going to get. Tuesday, I'll be here doing this. And every night, it was like 10:30, 10 o'clock, I would jump on Periscope and I would create it until I figured out which ones everybody was tuning in for, what it was, what time, what they loved. You know, if it was 8 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4, I just tried just so many different things of what I do to see what it was that would really go great on that one particular place. And then I wrote about it on the blog so that you guys could, figure out a route to build your own Periscope channel. And I learned really quickly that all of the information and the resources that I was providing had become something that people regularly tuned in for, as long as they knew when I was going to be there. And if they didn't, and then I found out, ultimately, okay, not everybody's going to be able to catch me at this one time. So I'm going to have to find a way to archive it. And it just kind of grows from there. You put it out there, you write it all down, you map it out, and then you try and you keep trying. And you give it a really good amount of time, like I'm talking several months of just getting the data in and trying out what it is that's working. And I guarantee that something will come forward, whether it's just the fact that your particular audience just likes you to open it up and just sit there and just talk to them and just, shoot the breeze. Maybe it's just a everyday hello or a quote or, some inspirational words, or even talking about songwriting. You never know what it is, but when you land upon it, it's going to show you that that's the value that your customers and your audience really wants to see from you. You're going to see your numbers explode, and you can really expect it to make a huge difference and a huge dent in what you've been doing. But until you get there, you're going to feel like you're just barely treading water. You're only gaining, like a very few amount of people, and it's a real tough road. So a lot of times it's not about giving up. It's about switching up and doing different things. And that's what, Joseph had said in the guide that I wrote for Facebook Guide that really helped, because it gave you so many ideas to try and things that you could be posting on Facebook. Ultimately, somewhere in those ideas, something's going to catch for you, and people are going to say, that's what I really want to see from this guy, or that's what I really want to see from this artist. I love this. And you'll see it in your numbers. It will stand out. It really will. So guys,
getting started. Go ahead.
What's that? No, go ahead.
I think a lot of it is just getting started. People are intimidated and they put it off and they don't get started at all. And things like the guide, the recipe for getting started, being curious, that is 90% of it. If you get moving. And I remember Bruce Springsteen very early in his career was having some success after he worked his issues out with his record company. So he's on the road. He's being interviewed right before he goes on stage, and the interviewer said, Bruce, if you can say one thing that is the most important ingredient to your success, what is it? And he thought about it for a second. He goes, you know what? If you can get their asses moving, their souls will follow. And there's a lot of wisdom in that statement. And it applies.
It's so true. So true.
Can apply to any business, and it can apply to rock and roll, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. You're talking about emotional response. And that's why YouTube has, some YouTube channels that are getting 15 million hits in an hour, on a new video. It's because those people are just so funny. You know what I mean? That's that emotional response. There's one lady on there that I don't know if you guys have ever heard of her, but just to give you an idea of how silly it can be. She literally, nobody has seen her face. She's just hands opening toys and playing with toys. And she is the #1 YouTube channel out there. And all she does is open a new toy and she plays with it with her hands. And nobody's seen her face. They don't know who she is. There's a big story about her being some porn star that retired, and that's who it actually is. I mean, nobody knows who it is. And it's just that emotional response, And then there's other people that are out there that are just making people laugh 24/7. So very, very true. Well, guys, it's nice to have you here. Thanks for joining live streaming. I'm glad that you're part of the panel today. And you really, really helped out a lot of people. I very much appreciate you being here.
Yeah, but you're the great leader, and thank you for everything that you're doing and continue to do. It's just an honor to be on these kind of dialogues, whether it's online or on stream, and really looking forward to next Tuesday.
Definitely.
Awesome. Yeah, can't wait, Joseph. It's going to be such a good time. Don't forget, guys, Joseph Pagano will be here on the live stream for 2016 next Tuesday at 6 p.m., correct? We're at 6 p.m.?
Yep, Eastern time.
Yeah, awesome. So you're going to see a big surprising event from him. I can't wait because you're going to play for us too, aren't you?
We're going to play, and I'm going to have the band actually here, and they've worked out some harmonies in real time this week. So it should be additive to what people have been hearing when I do my solo act.
Yay, awesome. Too cool. And then the Shadow of, I know Shadow, you've just been on the live stream. You played for us. We had such a good time. That was great. You guys can catch that on AVALiveradio.com. What do you have coming up next?
Right now I'm just kind of having a break. I played at Hard Rock Cafe in Copenhagen last Thursday. And now I'm kind of, I'm giving myself a few days just relaxing, thinking of new tunes. I'm going to the studio. Cool. I'm going to the studio sometime and going for doing some work with some songs. Yes, but right now I don't have an official concert or anything yet. But I'm going to try to figure out how to kind of reach out to other places because it's kind of a good thing to have that place, Hard Rock Cafe in Copenhagen, on my recipient.
It's wonderful. Yeah. So, no, too cool. So we'll have to go catch up with what you've been doing, because I know you had a lot of real huge activity. You must enjoy the downtime, and you've got to create your new songs, because I just cannot wait for the new stuff to come out. I'm excited.
I will let you all know when it will come out, and people, of course, you can go. And I have to say that because now we're talking about it, and not only wear my T-shirt and my merchandise is, people can go and buy it. This site is actually really, really cool because what they do is kind of building up the support for indie artists and indie bands. So the artists who is on the bands who's on this page, they have kind of, the only thing they need to do is keep focusing on, keep moving forward and reaching out to fans. On my homepage, theshadowof.ek, you can find the link to that web place where it calls Merch City. And you can go in there and you will find other bands, and all people have to do is kind of supporting that band they want to support. And this company is doing all the things. The artists and the bands only need to kind of do what they are best to do, like being a musician. That is all. And this company, the reason why I chose that was because they had the focus of working for the artists. So the artists only can just need to play and be an artist, and not think of how to put out an EP or send out the EPs or sending out T-shirts or anything. Just keep focusing on playing gigs, reaching out to fans, one fan at a time, and yeah. So that was the reason why I chose that. So the Shadow of DK.
I love it. And Jerry, thank you for being here. It's good to have you here again. You guys are going to be on for live streaming coming up with the band Hennessy. Very excited for that. We can catch up with you guys on your Facebook page, right? Is that like the most popular, or are you doing a lot of Snapchat?
We're doing keeping everything with Facebook and on Twitter. We're pretty big on Twitter. We're actually going to be, I'm going to be hosting a Blab tomorrow, and it's about indie bands.
Oh, great.
And it's going to be inviting indie bands in there and stuff too. So it's kind of cool.
That's great. I'm looking on your Facebook page. You guys haven't announced it yet, I don't think, unless it's further down the line. So definitely put it up on Facebook so that we can find out where the Blab is.
Okay, I will.
All right, guys. Great to see you. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, everyone, we've got Behind the Music series coming up next at 6 p.m. You can catch that on AVALiveradio.com, as well as the simulcast on Periscope. I'll be back very, very soon. See you guys later.
Take care, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.